throwing that huge arm off to the left, the Walt Disney. I now have 2 frag racks and actually getting some respectable pieces up there. Sure, stinging the Gani right here on this side. I noticed it was still there and he dropped the price on it and I jumped on it. Hey, welcome back to Salty Roots. If you're new to the channel, my name is Joe. I would really appreciate it if you considered hitting that subscribe button. This is my Waterbox 190.5 display tank, and today just doing a quick update on the system. It's been up and running for about 1 year and 8 months, so getting closer and closer to that 2-year mark. And although it's not without its problems, overall things are going really, really well. Corals are growing. Fish are showing some signs of disease, some of the ones that are more prone to disease, but they still seem happy and I'm keeping them well fed and hopefully they'll get through that. Speaking of, it's the powder blue and the blue hippo, both front and center, showing some signs of ick, which they're notorious for that. I think it's very hard not to have any ick in your system whatsoever. Now I do know there are those of you out there that do it and do it well. You have an expert level quarantine methodology, but for me, I just think to completely guarantee you don't have any ick in your system, the level of quarantine you have to do is something I'm just not capable of. It's literally quarantining anything wet from, of course, your fish, but also your coral to your inverts and just extra sterilization on any of your equipment, and just a level, again, that I'm not set up to do. So unfortunately, I think that a lot of us do have ick present in the tank, and then there's just an event that happens where the fish get a little bit stressed out, which in my case are these 2 kind of ick-prone fish that are showing some signs of it. But anyway, I've upped my feeding, which I needed to do. As somebody had pointed out in a previous video, that powder blue is looking really thin, and I agree. And so I've increased the feeding there, which will hopefully help them push through the sickness. And also some of that extra feeding has helped quite a bit with a lot of my coral growth, I think, as well, adding some extra nutrients into the system. Speaking of nutrients, I am also battling the hair algae still, but that said, I've had a new method. I have a new strategy with that, and that's really just to leave it alone and let it grow out, because as it gets big and forms these big clumps, you can just kind of pull it all out at once or siphon it all out at once and get the whole piece of hair algae, as opposed to just kind of picking little tiny chunks of it. And so because I've been doing that and just letting it grow, I've been keeping my hands out of the tank more, which any experienced reefer will tell you is probably another reason for some of the success here as of late, is just leaving things alone and letting kind of the tank stabilize and mature naturally. And so I do think I am getting ahead of some of that hair algae. It's not growing back as fast, and it's getting easier and easier to pull it out. It's letting go of the rocks a little bit easier than it has in the past. So I think it's dying off, and it's just a constant battle in your tank, something battling for the light, for the nutrients. And for a while, my hair algae was winning that. And I think now the corals are starting to take over and win that battle, and the hair algae is finally dying off. So happy about that. Again, happy with a lot of the coral. I'm seeing a lot of color pop in some of the acros as well. The green slimer, nice and bright, branched out that little arm to the right. This TNT frag, you can see the white tips on it. Or a frog skin is definitely growing a little bit. This coral that I notoriously don't know the name of continues to grow. It's growing that huge arm off to the left. Purple stylo, I've fragged it accidentally quite a few times, but it continues to be one of the biggest corals in the tank, rivaled by the bird's nest back there that is also quite large. So I have a lot of frags of both of those. And then this pink coral in the back, I got it from Reefapalooza Orlando. It's kind of funny. I don't think the gentleman that sold it to me knew a ton of English. He just said highlight. And it's right here at the top, and it's got this pink, deep pink color to it. And lately it's been getting some really bright green around the edges. So I'm really happy with the color on that one. The Garf Bonsai is plating out quite a bit and encrusting on the rock. I hope that translates into some branch growth here soon, but it is growing, just a lot of encrusting there on that one. It's nice and colorful as well. Cyphastria stays kind of stalled. It has since I put it in here. Haven't seen a lot of growth on that one. This little tiny frag here is a woolly mammoth I got from my buddy James that really, I didn't know if it was gonna make it. It got real pale on me and just looked rough when I put it in here. It's just a tiny frag, but it's starting to get color back and extend some polyps, so happy about that. Got the green mother next to the Bill Murray up here. They're both extended, have some nice color to them. And although slow, the Bill Murray continues to branch out over there to the left. A couple of other corals I don't know the names of, but are looking good, and also kind of encrusting at the bottom there and getting some color on the tips there. This is the bigger colony of the TNT that also has a lot of white tips and growth. Coral that I'm probably the most happy with right now is the Walt Disney. It's not like exploding in growth or anything like that, but it is one of the only higher end corals that I have. And as you can see, the polyps are extended. It seems really happy. It still has some color to it. And so just happy that I've kept that one alive. I mentioned some of the frags earlier. I now have 2 frag racks and actually getting some respectable pieces up there. They're pretty common corals, but everything is looking pretty good on those, and they're getting full. So I'll have to start to see if anyone is interested in any of these here locally here soon, as I'm gonna need some more room. On this side of the tank, the yellow submarine is really taking off. I'm really happy with that piece. It was stalled for the longest time. It was in other tanks, and it's really doing well here in this one. I mentioned on our previous video, this candy corn favia is growing like crazy, but it was turned in and you really couldn't see it at all. And so I turned this whole rock this way and exposed a little bit more of it so you can just see it a little bit better. This little toadstool is in the desktop tank, and I moved it over here because it wasn't doing anything over there. I just wanted to see if it might extend a little more here in this tank. See this chalice stretching out down there at the bottom and getting some color. My Ghani is really growing out to the back. As you can see, the big Space Invader in the front just grows so fast, and it's, I'm sure, stinging the Ghani right here on this side. You can see it's completely retracted, so I'm sure sweepers are coming out of the Space Invader and experiencing some coral warfare there. The Zoa Garden, I'm getting a nice little collection here. Of different colors. Now the corals that seem to be doing the worst are going to be my torches. And if we go from the healthiest to the least healthy, I would say this kind of yellow and goldish purple one is doing the best. This one is doing the next best, and then this one really does not like to extend at all. And so if you have any tips for torch care, I would love to hear them. Somebody commented on one of my previous videos and was mentioning some specific elements that I should dose, and I might see an improvement there. But they're the ones that seem to be struggling the most. This is my newest coral, and I'm in love with it. I got it from my buddy Dominic, and now typically I won't spend too much on one coral in particular, but I just was blown away with the colors on this one. I thought it looked really cool, and he posted it online. And then like 2 weeks later, I noticed it was still there, and he dropped the price on it, and I jumped on it. And so this was one of my more expensive corals, this trachea here, but I'm really happy with it. It's a sand bed coral, and I do have this guy over here that typically you don't mix a sand sifter and a sand bed coral. And it happens to be right next to his den, of course, but it was the perfect spot for it. It's kind of the biggest open area of sand, and so that's really where I wanted to keep it. At first I had it like right here, and then I shifted it over because he was spitting some sand out. So I'll just have to keep an eye on it. That's exactly where I want it to be, and I'll just have to watch you, dude. Hopefully he'll respect it. Hairy mushroom still big as ever. The devil's hand is getting massive as well. The trumpet coral, the pinstripe, the front kind of polyps there they're under the most light, and they were pretty pale for a while, and they are starting to color back up, and I'm glad that's doing well because I like that spot for that coral as well. So I didn't touch on every single piece, but that is an overall update on the livestock. Like I keep saying, I'm happy with the coral overall. Hopefully these two in particular push past this little bout of ick, and they'll make it. They seem happy. They're eating like pigs, and so hopefully that we'll see that ick go away here real soon. One of the newer additions to the tank is this Higer gyre, and I've really liked the placement of that, sending that wall or that blanket of flow across the top of the tank and eliminating some of that oil look to the top of the water. And then that allowed me to move that MP40 to the back and eliminate what was a dead zone in that back corner there. I have my overflow box right here, and a lot of detritus would kind of catch in that back corner. And so this MP40, now that it's back there, is pushing a ton of flow, eliminating that, kicking a lot of that detritus up and sending it down to the sump. So I've really been happy with the addition of this gyre. I may even consider sliding another one over on this side. I'd have to move my frag rack, obviously, but having kind of gyres on each side, sending 2 blankets of flow across the top would be really cool. As far as dosing goes on this tank, I'm dosing about 30 milliliters of both alkalinity and calcium. And then I'm kind of following the Reef Moonshiners method. I still do water changes. I just really like doing a weekly water change. I only do about 15 gallons a week, but I don't know, there's just something about taking some water out and putting clean water in that I guess it's like a safety blanket for me. So that's not always the best thing to do while you're dosing trace elements, because you can pull some of those trace elements right out. But anyway, that's just what I do. So I do about a weekly water change, and then my daily Moonshiners dose is a little bit of manganese, a couple of drops of iodine, and a couple of drops of vanadium. And then I do the vitamin X every now and then as well. And so that's it for my dosing. And I'm going to do my 3rd ICP test here real soon. And what I do with those results is I still put them into the Reef Moonshiners calculator, but I don't do every single thing that it recommends. I just try to focus on any correction doses needed, the ones that are really far off, and stick to the daily dosing of those elements that seem to be depleted in this tank. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this video right here. It's been long enough. I had a whole another part planned to talk about my equipment and frankly how a lot of it's failing right now. It seems like my most expensive pieces of equipment keep failing, one piece of equipment after another, but we'll save that for the next video. To make sure you don't miss it when it comes out, hit the bell notification. If you do plan on getting any hydro equipment, remember to use that code SALTYROOTS for a discount. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and we'll see you in the next one.